Now, Republican Congressman from Illinois, Representative Aaron Schock. He's just been traveling like nobody's business, talking about different issues that confront us from around the world. Nicole, I'll let you take that. But first, if you could just, we'd like to turn to your Instagram, if we could.
Sure.
And wow. Could you talk to me about this? What's going on here?
You know,
what the hell? Come on, Aaron. Seriously.
It was Good Friday, and some people...
Yes, it was.
I can see that.
Yes, it was,
golf, and I don't golf.
Yeah.
And so Tulsi Gabbard, my friend, Congresswoman in Hawaii, said, why don't we try and get you up on a surfboard? I said, I've never surfed.
Right.
And she said, I think I've got an instructor who can get you up. And on my first day trying, we got up. So it was a lot of fun.
So, there's a lot of pictures of this guy with his shirt off over the years. I mean,
Aaron,
what's that about?
I really don't understand.
Putting Vladimir Putin aside.
Swimming
but let me just,
with my clothes on.
It just happens to be that you're surfing and you're sculpted perfectly and the angle's just right and you Instagrammed it.
Why not? Why not?
It's
in great shape. By the way,
he's perfect.
You know what? Somebody who's in good shape. It shows their discipline. It shows clear thinking. There's nothing to hide about. Good. By the way, I have a feeling if you saw most of Congress take their shirts off, it wouldn't be something you'd want to see. That would be my theory.
That's actually, you do have that on all of Washington.
What's that?
What Donnie just said.
Well,
they're out of shape.
I think, look, I've never been bashful about being in shape, and I will say this. Tomorrow, I launched the Fitness Caucus with one of my Democratic colleagues.
Yeah.
It's an initiative I've been very passionate about because as much as we talk about health care, the one conversation nobody wants to talk about.
My money's on Mika.
Wow.
My money's on Mika. Ready? Go.
Go.
Mika.
Come on, are you going to do this?
He's good.
All right.
Well, Nicole.
Seriously, 80% of our health care costs are spent on preventable diseases. So we can joke all we want about health. The reality is more than any law we pass, what we put in our mouth and our activity as individuals contributes more to our health care costs than anything.
I agree. We could
choir.
debate that, but I'm going to let you talk about your trip. Go ahead.
So you were talking about, you're just back from Asia, about people saying privately that they have some concerns now about not just America's credibility, but our strength and our commitment to following through on our security commitments around the world.
Yeah, so I was on a congressional trip led by Majority Leader Eric Cantor. It preceded the president's trip to the region. We met with Prime Minister Abe in Japan, as well as the defense minister and many of his cabinet officials. Two messages. One, America is going to continue to support its allies in the region. America will continue to honor its commitments after World War II and the treaty we have with Japan to provide for their defense.
Is there doubt that we will?
Privately, it came up in nearly every meeting.
Wow.
We have seen the inaction in Syria. We're very concerned about the inaction in Ukraine. What does that mean about our commitment from you to back us up if and when we were to get into a military conflict? And specifically, Japan has doubled their domestic spending, their country's spending on defense. And Abe, the Prime Minister, is going so far as to ask for a reinterpretation of their constitution within their courts to allow for self-defense of their country. So those are a bit unprecedented, and it's because of the uncertainty that they feel about America's commitment to the treaty and to ultimately defend them if and when they were getting a military conflict. I think it's why the president was asked that same question following later in the week when he visited.
Sam Stein in Washington has a question. Sam.
2 points. One is I'm surprised the producers didn't find my surfing Instagrams on my account. We could have compared. Probably would have lost.
We saw some high school fencing photos.
No,
that one too, but I deleted those, Donnie. Secondly, Congressman, last week a video surfaced of your speaker, Speaker Boehner, almost mocking Republicans in his own party in the House for their unwillingness, their trepidation for taking up immigration reform. And I just was curious what your reaction is to seeing those comments.
Well, I think, look, this is John Boehner in his raw form. He is someone who's very real. He's someone who's very direct in his conversations, not just publicly, but to us behind closed doors when he's addressing the conference. You know, there are plenty of folks in Congress who, you know, say they want to make tough decisions, come to Congress to do the right thing, but when push comes to shove, they find it difficult to do so. But I think the House of Representatives is the place for immigration reform to be addressed. Our body faces the electorate every 2 years. The Republican majority believes in fixing broken government. This is a broken government program, and it's why I've been very outspoken in pushing my leadership, in being very outspoken in my views on the need for immigration reform. And for my district in central Illinois, both agriculture, which is the #1 industry, and manufacturing, which is the second largest industry, both of them demand immigration reform.
Well, let me ask you, do you see those comments from the Speaker as a positive sign for the prospects of a bill being introduced this session?
Well, a bill, I don't think there will be a single bill, as the Speaker has mentioned, but the step-by-step approach, there have been those singular bills introduced. The border security bill already passed out of the Homeland Security Committee unanimously. There's a visa enforcement piece of legislation being introduced. There's obviously Eric Cantor, who has his DREAM Acts dealing with the kids provision. So I think that the Speaker has laid out and spoken very publicly about his desire to see immigration reform happen sooner rather than later. But at the end of the day, he represents a conference of Congress, and we are a reflection of our constituents. So while I go back to Illinois and I speak about my views based on what I hear from my constituents, I respect other people in my conference who have differing views. But I think at the end of the day, this will take Democrats working with the Republicans to get it done. And I think the primary season, let me just say this, has made it difficult, not just on immigration, but on a whole host of things.
Running out of
trade agreements right now are being stalled because of the same
Very important, because Mika had a thesis earlier in the show, a big conspiracy theory. There was a thing that came out that if the Republicans don't get either Christie or Jeb Bush, that the business community would love to see Hillary Clinton run, and her feeling is, that's because the Republicans are afraid, so they're putting that out there to tar her in the Democratic primaries.
Come on.
Are you as cynical as Ms. Brzezinski?
Or complicated?
Yes,
you know, I suppose that's kind of like being the Democrat's favorite Republican, right?
Exactly.
You don't want to be the Republican's favorite Democrat.
Right.
You know what? I think at the end of the day, you know, business individuals will do what's best for business individuals, as evidenced by who they give money to on both sides of the spectrum.
So the answer is yes. And now I'm going to give you some media advice. I think Donnie would agree with this. So your staff should not Instagram you on your Instagram, because then it looks like you Instagrammed yourself looking hot on a surfboard. That's needy. You ought to
Which
have...
is what I do, and it doesn't work for me.
Well, Mika, let me give you a news flash. That's my Instagram, and I control my Instagram. I put up the photos, and there's a reason it's a private account, but as you know, in public office, nothing's private, so I've just learned that anything I post to my friends and my family could end up on Morning Joe.
Other people have to post hot pictures of you, not you, okay?
I'll keep
Take
that
the
in mind.
advice from Mika.
I'll keep that in mind. Thanks.
Congressman Aaron Schock, thank you very much.
Good to be with you guys.
It's good to have you on.